I am a river spirit. The river that lives around me, through me, is but a sinuous pipeline, feeding my cooling, clear waters to an estuary by the coast, and I am fine with that. This river feeds me. I am its waters, and I am its fish in their abundant, swarming schools. I am its stones, and the force that rounds them into sleekness and sheen. And I am, of course, its shores, open to the forest and all who require my touch, my healing grace, be it plant or beast, be it beast or man, and man visits me often. I have long watched as I have offered my own lifeblood to the man above, and have long since ventured into their opulence. I have been worshipped, praised, deified, and I have never been taken advantage of. The people, my people I dare say, have always been kind to me. From my shores, there is a bounty to be had, a soothing, nurturing essence that only I can give. And in me, around me, they rejoice. In large groups, they descend upon me, into me. They splash and they play. They smile. In this, I am content. There was one boy, not long ago, whom I remember most kindly. Half a mile north, along the banks where the wandering roots lose ground and stumble off the shores like packs of jumbled snakes, this lone boy came to me. By the base of a knotted tree, he'd placed his worn sandals, his tattered clothes, and he'd descend into the current. Then, he'd wait. He'd let me carry him away, past the reeds and the blooming cattails beyond the woods. He would ride on along my gentle hands, drifting thoughtlessly, carelessly away. But only for a little ways. Never would he allow himself to go further than the forked tree by the plains, and the threadbare pedal boat that gathered weeds and color by its base. There, he would always return from his distant state, and climb out of my waters, grabbing handfuls of grass to help himself up along the weary plain. And he would return home along my shores, uncaring towards me. Along the way, he'd stare at the ground, measuring the weight of each step and the spreading of the ache in his feet. Once he reached that place, with the roots like snakes, he'd turn, without looking back, and I would not see him again until the very next day, when he would once more dismount my shores, a cycle begun anew. At times, I'd rise from my totality and follow the boy in an imitative form down the river. Beneath him, like a shadow, I would sprout globular arms, legs, and a rotund head. I'd limit my consciousness to that place, that moment, and I would feel as he did, weightless, encompassed, ever moving. As we moved, I would lift my arms beneath the child, holding him even better aloft, fully buoyant, fully relaxed. And I understood the child who came to my shores every day, who said not a word, and always got out by the side of that forked tree, who always felt the weight of his heel in the dusty earth, to feel as free as the water, to feel at the will of the water's being. He was frivolous, simple, for, though I had felt as he felt, he knew not what I knew, what I know. He had never felt the wrath that the rains did spawn. Swamp clouds would give way to trembling skies and pounding winds and shores that ran like streams. They filled me, draining down from the north, and became me, changed me, every inch of me, scrambling my mind and my form, filling me with such fresh cold, a numbing cold. Where I once polished stones, I pulled and tugged and ripped them from their crevices, leaving them to the will of the current. My cool, serene surface became imbued with rage and a biting chill, clouded with soil and murk. I grappled with the snake roots, and I dug beneath the old pedal boat, bringing it closer and closer to my oppressive grasp and widening those shores. I did not fear days like those, for I've never felt such a thing as fear. For me, such a violent change is all I've ever known. Everything comes and goes, cycles and flows. I change, but only to revert, to start anew, to leisurely drift once more. But the boy couldn't change. He was unwise. To him, the flows of the river mattered not what time of day or color of water. He only wanted to feel free. After a memorable deluge, when I had not expected many to grace my shores, my fevered, frenzied mind found the boy approaching near. He stared for quite a while, and I wondered if he could see me, lurking beneath the waves, taking his shape. I was curious, for although I felt no which way about the boy, and I was in a much more chaotic state of mind, I wondered what the boy was thinking to do. Surely, even in my inundated madness, I thought that the boy would not be foolish enough to enter. He removed his sandals after a long pause. He removed his clothes after another. He glanced back from whence he came, as if doubting, as if he could see me, hungrily gazing up at him. But he could not. He jumped into the water. I had no control. Instantly, I had to seize hold of the child. I wrapped my globular arms around him, and I held him tight. I dragged him down, lower and lower, spinning about like a leaf in the wind, tumbling, rolling, drifting free through the river. The boy fought, harder than he'd ever fought the gravity of the land. He kicked at me, swatted at me, gasped at me, but I could not release him. He was so warm, you see. I couldn't just let him go. My arms lengthened, and I grew icy claws with which I raked his back. My legs wrapped around his, coiling like a snake, squeezing tight. My head grew a mouth, with which I was able to suck the air from the boy's lungs. He did not give it up willingly, but in the end, I flooded his body. I weighed him like lead. He sank. I was able to release him. He spun through the current, dancing about the bottom, until he came to rest under the branches of some long fallen oak. There he would remain, until his family came to claim him. It has been many rains since then, and although I may say I pity the boy, I do not feel sorrow for him. I cannot, for I am free, changing. Without the constraints of mundane form, I control not my actions, for I cannot, not like the rain. You see, I am a river spirit. I move freely, at the will of the water.